The arrangement was that Lumumba would not speak. That was Kasavubu would speak. And indeed, when you listen to Kasavubu's speech, he praises the Belgians, how good they were to the Congolese. King Baudouin also reminds the Congolese that they have inherited a good thing from the Belgians and that they have a duty to retain it. Patrice Emery Lumumba stands up. It is on that day that it was decided that Lumumba must die.
Patrice Emery Lumumba, the first democratically elected prime minister of the Congo, was executed. He was ousted and he was destroyed by outsiders with the help of inside men because he understood power and he refused to kneel. On January 17, 1961, Patrice Emery Lumumba was executed. He was assassinated through a joint operation. Foreign powers who feared losing control and Congolese elites who chose personal power over national sovereignty. Congo of today has become a sport and a ground of foreign exploitation. Now stay close and listen to me. This is the story. This is the truth, the history that you were not taught in school as a Congolese and as an African. This is Inside Focus. Now you're watching me. If this is the first time you're coming across my channel, just relax a little bit. Look at that subscribe button, hit it, go to the video, like the video, share the video, and go to the comment section. Let me know what you think about this very conversation. Please listen to this. This video is not with an intention to attack a personality or a group of people. It is for the purpose of education and criticizing an idea and an opinion, as this video is an analytical part of historical and geopolitical discussion. We seek to understand global power relations, not to create division. Now, as an African watching me, as a Congolese young man or young woman watching me, Patrice Emery Lumumba, your father and one of the fathers of Africa, was not a communist agent as the Western propaganda insisted. He was a nationalist, a Pan-Africanist, a man who believed Congo's resources should benefit Congolese people first. At independence in 1960, on that day, Patrice Emery Lumumba openly said, Congo will no longer be a warehouse of Western prosperity. And behold, this sentence alone sealed the fate of Patrice Emery Lumumba. Now, even after the independence of the Congo, Belgium never intended Congo to be truly independent. The Belgian officers still controlled the army. Belgian companies still controlled mining. Belgian interests still controlled administration. So let us ask ourselves this very question. What was the crime of Patrice Emery Lumumba that led to him being ousted, destroyed, and murdered? He demanded control of natural resources. He fired Belgian officers. He refused IMF and World Bank dependencies. He publicly humiliated Belgium during independence ceremony. Patrice Emery Lumumba stood against resource extraction without sovereignty. He stood against foreign-backed elites and also military strongmen serving outside interests. And this is how he signed his death warrant, leading to his assassination, murder.
In June 1960, the Republic of Congo, modern-day Democratic Republic of the Congo, celebrated its independence from Belgium with King Baudouin of Belgium in attendance. During his address, King Baudouin expressed admiration for King Leopold II, despite the fact that Leopold's rule resulted in the deaths of over 10 million Congolese people. He suggested that the Congolese should not make any changes to what Leopold II had done for the country unless they were certain they could do better.
L'indépendance du Congo constitue l'aboutissement de l'œuvre conçue par le génie du roi Léopold II, entreprise par lui avec un courage tenace et continuée avec persévérance par la Belgique. Elle marque une heure décisive dans les destinées, non seulement du Congo lui-même, mais je n'hésite pas à l'affirmer, de l'Afrique tout entière.
King Baudouin's remarks were deeply patronizing and insensitive, considering the brutal suffering endured by the Congolese people under King Leopold II's regime. However, when Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba took the stage, he made sure to challenge the king's perspective and prevent him from having the final say.
Combattant de l'indépendance, aujourd'hui victorieux, je vous salue au nom du gouvernement congolais. À vous tous, mes amis, qui avez lutté sans relâche à nos côtés, je vous demande de faire de ce 30 juillet 1960 une date illustre que vous garderez ineffaçablement gravée dans vos cœurs, une date dont vous enseignerez avec fierté la signification à vos enfants, pour que ceux-ci, à leur tour, fassent connaître à leurs fils et à leurs petits-fils l'histoire glorieuse de notre lutte pour la liberté. Nous avons connu les ironies, les insultes, les coups que nous devions subir matin, midi et soir, parce que nous étions des nègres. Qui oubliera qu'à un noir, on disait tu, non certes comme à un ami, mais parce que les voix honorables étaient réservées aux seuls blancs.
Nous avons souffert dans notre corps, dans notre esprit de l'oppression colonialiste. Nous vous le disons, tout cela est désormais fini.
King Baudouin was displeased with Lumumba's speech, and it marked a turning point that sealed Lumumba's fate. A few months after his ouster, Lumumba was assassinated with the assistance of the United States Central Intelligence Agency, CIA.
At that time, he was quite clear that the process of decolonization that was being conducted by the locals against the Belgians was simply going to lead to the creation of a comprador and compliant class. That meant individuals such as Joseph Kasavubu and, of course, Moise Tshombe. And when he came in, the Belgians were also fatigued and they literally abandoned Congo. And in the year 1960, of course, independence was then granted. And this is important. At that time, the king in Belgium was King Baudouin. And when he came to Congo in what was then called Leopoldville, now Kinshasa, the arrangement was that Lumumba would not speak. The arrangement that was Kasavubu would speak. And indeed, when you listen to Kasavubu's speech, he praises the Belgians. He tells the Belgians how good they were to the Congolese. And taking the cue, King Baudouin also reminds the Congolese that they have inherited a good thing from the Belgians and that they have a duty to retain it. Patrice Emery Lumumba, who had written a speech, stands up. Everybody is surprised, and he begins to speak. And he reminds his audience that that day marks an occasion which must remain in the minds of the Congolese. That the Congolese must remember that they have been humiliated, that they have been impoverished by the Belgians, and that the joy of the occasion was that from that day henceforth, the Congolese would write their own history. The Congolese would be masters of their own resources. The Congolese would be a people that would be respected by the world. He speaks, and you can see, if you look at the footage, King Baudouin looking at Kasavubu and wondering, what is this man saying? Those who know say that it is on that day that it was decided that Lumumba must die.
Now, as a result of this, for the Cold War West, Lumumba posed three main threats. One, resource nationalization, which is eventually going to make the Congo very rich and independent, really independent. Secondly, African sovereignty, inspiring other colonies to also go the same route. And then the third one, loss of strategic minerals to non-Western control. So at this point, the United States viewed this as unacceptable. Superpowers and powerful nations saw this as something that they could not allow to go on or keep happening. So declassified documents confirmed CIA Director Alan Dulles described Lumumba as a grave danger, to Western prosperity, and also plans for Lumumba's elimination by the late 1960s.
They caught him on his way to Stanleyville and flew him back. Patrice Lumumba securely wrote. And with him were men who served in his cabinet when he was Prime Minister. They were bundled into a heavily guarded lorry and driven off towards a place called Binza. Lumumba had been under house arrest, protected by UN troops in Leopoldville, when he escaped. His recapture was quite a triumph for Colonel Mobutu, who now saw his enemy arrive. Lumumba's bonds are tightened. They were taking no chances. And his wife and child watch his humiliation. The whole affair, of course, serves to underline once again the conditions prevailing in the Congo. It's not enough to arrest a man. He must apparently be beaten up as well. Then put him on trial later, no doubt.
Now here is where the myth collapsed. Lumumba was not killed by foreigners alone. Congolese collaborators played a critical role, and here is it. President Joseph Kasavubu at the time dismissed him. Joseph Desiré Mobutu, then army chief, staged a coup.
As for Mobutu's troops, they yelled and danced with joy. They had won a great victory. They had got Lumumba after trying to lay their hands on him for months. The leader of
Katangan secessionists under Moses Sombe facilitated his execution. Now, what was the gain after all these things were done against Patrice Emery Lumumba? Mobutu, the then chief army who staged the coup, was later paid and supported by Western alliance. He later ruled Congo, renamed Zaire, for 32 years. Therefore, Patrice Emery Lumumba was being ousted, destroyed, and murdered by inside men in collaboration with outside powers who shared a common interest. Now, how was Patrice Emery Lumumba destroyed and murdered? He was shot, and when he died, his body was dissolved in acid. They made sure he was erased physically and completely to prevent a martyr's grave. Belgium admitted moral responsibility decades later, but no criminal accountability. And you see, in all this, the UN failed to protect Patrice Emery Lumumba. They neutralized him politically and effectively allowed his removal. And I say that this was not incompetence on the part of the UN, but a geopolitical convenience. Interestingly, there are still some myths and some lies that are still being told today about Patrice Emery Lumumba. First, they say that Lumumba was reckless and caused chaos. It was false because Congo's chaos was engineered to justify intervention. Secondly, they said he invited the Soviet Union. You see, that is actually true because first, the West refused to help, and then Lumumba had to turn to whoever would preserve Congolese sovereignty. And the Soviet Union was available at the time. And the third lie, Africa wasn't ready for leadership like Lumumba. And that is a big fat lie because this is colonial logic recycled as scholarship. The problem was not Lumumba. The problem actually is that he refused subservience. So in Congo today, whatever Patrice Emery Lumumba feared, whatever he warned Congo against, are happening now under their very eyes. Today, Patrice Emery Lumumba represents a question that still haunts empires. That is why his legacy today is being diluted. His name is being sanitized, and his assassination is blamed on complexity, the excuse of the guilty. Now, here is where the joy is. Let me tell you, Africa, and let me tell you, the people of Congo, remember, this was Inside Focus. Like, share, and subscribe, because the silence is the final weapon of exploitation. And I say again, this was Inside Focus.